Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host.
I will run, bitches. I'm just kidding. It's Brian Suffield.
Okay, so apparently Brian is dead, and his body's like floating in space somewhere. Kylo Ren probably threw him through the space toilet or whatever. So, yeah, Brian's not here today. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, anyways, welcome to another episode of this awesome show where we take a look at movies that are coming out on Friday, and we will take an actor, director, genre, what have you, and we'll make a top 5 list according to me and to Brian. And we don't know what each other's lists are. That's what's great about doing this live. It's kind of off the cuff. I don't know what he's going to pick. He doesn't know what I'm going to pick. But there are 3 movies coming out this weekend. We have Sisters, and we have Alvin and the Fuck Monks. Alvin and the Shit Monks. And then we have the Star Wars Force Awakens. So Brian asked if we could do the top 5 space films. I said, sure, let's fucking do this. So in honor of Star Wars The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren. Oh, there you go. So as you guys can tell, if you're new to this show, you can tell who's the Star Wars fan and who's not. Because the only thing I have representing it is that dinky little VHS trilogy box set in the background. So, yeah, so we're doing the top 5 space films, and how this works is that we do our list. We'll go 5 all the way up until 1. Then we'll have some honorable mentions, and then we'll do some dishonorable mentions if we even have any. I can't even think of any, to be honest with you. And then, of course, Brian will introduce next weekend's. Yeah. So, Brian, when you think of space films, what's like... What do you think of? Do you think of like grand epic adventures? Do you think of smaller, quieter films? Do you think sci-fi? Do you think fantasy? What do you think of when you think of space films?
Every genre you basically just listed, basically. As long as it takes place in space or has something to do with space, it is considered a space film.
Okay. I can't argue against that. So, yeah, to me, like when I think of a space film, it's got to feel grand. It's got to feel epic because space is this, Earth and humans is that fucking little bacterial dot in the center of whatever the hell I just spread out. So space is grand, it's giant, and so I like those these space movies that feel like there is a huge threat, whether it be a human survival story or whether it be another asteroid crashing into Earth, whatever. I like to make it feel epic and grand, and I think my list is pretty solid. And I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Brian does not know this. My list does not give me anything away. I have a movie in every decade from 1960 to the 2000s. So I have one in the 60s, one in the 70s, one in the 80s, one in the 90s, and one in the 2000s. And was that by accident? Yeah, because when I made my list, I was like, wait a minute. There's something pretty interesting about this. And so I was looking up the dates, and I was like, holy shit. I basically picked one from each decade. So that's what my list consists of. So it's quite magical. I'm very proud of it. Brian, are there any rules for Star Wars? You only said we can only do one film, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, originally, I wish we were able to record this after we saw Force Awakens, but we can't. We're recording this on Wednesday. I'm seeing the movie tomorrow night. Chase is seeing it on Saturday. If we did see it, I kind of wanted to make a rule that we were able to include that, because when we did our boxing films, we included both one of the original 6 Rockies and Creed. If I'm hearing about Force Awakens, it's its own thing, even though it's still a Star Wars film. So it kind of counts as a spin-off, sequel type of thing. I don't know. But yeah, only one Star Wars film was allowed in this episode.
I'm going to let you guys know right now, no Star Wars made my list. So
I can't blame him. He tells me all the time he's not a big Star Wars fan. I can't blame him.
But this is going to be interesting, though, because you are, and I've never asked you what your favorite one is, so I'm actually going to try to guess it. I have a firm stance on one of them, but I'm thinking it might be the other one, but I don't know. We'll see. So As always, Brian starts it off. So, Brian, what is your number 5 pick for your favorite space film of all time?
I was gonna go. This originally was my number 2,
Oh,
but
wow.
then I realized I haven't seen it in like the full movie in like 3 or 4 years. My number 5 is Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Harrison Ford, and for a film that takes place in the long future, I really wanted this to be my top 2, but like I said, I haven't seen the full thing forever. I don't really remember it very well, which is actually a good thing because if I plan on watching it again, I'll feel like I just watched it for the first time. What I remember loving is the visual scope of the entire film. I mean, to see that this might be what our future is going to look like is beyond exceptional. Harrison Ford was great here. This was the film he did right after he did Raiders of the Lost Ark. He did this, and then he did Return of the Jedi. So those were good years for him. And Ridley Scott's direction was very strong. This was his first big film after Alien. And it's definitely one of the most beloved sci-fi films ever. And there's so many cuts of it. I have not seen, I've only seen the original cut. At least that's what I think. I don't know if I've seen the extended cut, the final cut, the director's cut. I don't know how many cuts there are of this film. And overall, I think it is a great film. I kind of am upset that I didn't include it in my Ridley Scott list. I think it's an excellent film. And I'm so excited for Blade Runner 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve, Prisoners, Enemy, and Sicario. Very excited for that. Yeah, so Blade Runner is my number 5.
The reason why I was looking back is I was trying to find the version I bought, because I bought Blade Runner a while ago. Because Brian's right, there's like 4 different fucking versions. There's like an extended cut, director's cut, producer's cut, whatever the fuck you want to say. But yeah, Blade Runner is a really cool, futuristic movie, and it was made in the 80s. And so it's just crazy to me when movies are made back in the 80s or 70s, and they kind of try to predict like the 2000s and stuff. And of course, Back to the Future 2, I love you to death, but you were a little off on 2015.
A little off?
Listen, they got some things right, but for the most part, yeah, it was way off. But Blade Runner is very dark, and asks questions about just humans and just difference between androids and humans and stuff, and purpose of life and whatnot. So Blade Runner is a great one. My number 5 was my introduction to Star Wars. I know, it's fucking shocking. As someone that's not really a huge fan, what movie did it for me? What's the one that introduced me, catapulted me into this franchise? I'm a comedy guy, so what do you think I'm going to pick? I saw Spaceballs before the original trilogy. Spaceballs is one of the best spoof movies ever made. And even not seeing the original trilogy before Spaceballs, I understood the references and stuff because I heard people talk about Star Wars ever since I was in fucking elementary school. So it's a funny-ass movie. I love Rick Moranis. Where you at? Please come back. Dark Helmet, Barf. And the fucking Bill Pullman playing the Han Solo part. It's ridiculous, and it's so much fun. Yogurt. Merchandising, it's just fun. I don't want to spoil any more jokes. If you are a Star Wars fan and you have not seen Spaceballs, what are you doing with your life? Spaceballs is one of Mel Brooks' best movies and is my number 5 pick, and that one was from the 80s. So I told you I have one from every decade. So the 80s is out. So I got 4 more left. Brian, when I tell you that I saw Spaceballs before the original trilogy, like, does your heart kind of sink a little bit, and you're just like, oh man, he doesn't get the jokes or anything?
Nah. The fact that you said you understood the stuff was fine with me. I feel like I saw Spaceballs and the Star Wars in the same year. I think I did. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen Spaceballs since I was like 10 years old. So I mean, I haven't seen the movie in forever. Yeah. I do want to watch it again though.
Rewatch it, man. It kills me every single time. That was my first introduction to this whole franchise, and that's because I was on this Mel Brooks kick. I saw like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and Spaceballs within like a 2-year gap. So I saw everything back to back, and because I saw Spaceballs when I was a teenager, and most of my high school friends loved Star Wars and stuff, so I already knew all the twists and stuff. I already knew all the characters, so that's what I'm saying. Like when I was going to Spaceballs, I was like, that joke was really funny. That joke was funny. I really got that. But I didn't have any idea that it was verbatim what A New Hope was in terms of the story structure and how it played out. So I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, that was my first introduction to A New Hope. So that's my number 5 pick. So Brian, what is your number 4?
Number 4, I am going with Alien.
Okay.
I know. Why is it so fucking low?
I'm sorry. Do I sound like a British car salesman?
No.
Why
I
is it
wasn't trying to imitate you. I was just saying the words that you said.
Guys, mark this in history. Brian was trying to imitate me, which is fine.
No, I wasn't. I actually wasn't.
Brian, you have to nail it, though. If you're going to make fun of me, you have to nail the squeaky, pitchy 12.
The squeaky pitchy voice.
Anyways, Brian, continue.
I don't. Alien's a great film and everything, but it's not my favorite Ridley Scott film that goes to American Gangster. Alien is probably the best sci-fi horror film we've ever had. Space sci-fi horror flick we've ever had. And, well, I have to think of that. No, but Alien is fantastic. It's definitely it is one of the best space films, one of the best sci-fi films we've ever had. And Ridley Scott, once again, Ridley Scott, first big film he's ever done, did a great job with this. And I mean, space is his thing. Okay, when you watch the 2 movies I just mentioned, then you watch Prometheus, and then you watch The Martian. This guy is so good with space films. It's like brilliant. But Alien haunts me, terrifies me, gets me excited. Sigourney Weaver's great as Ripley. Visually, it's beautiful. It's awesome. I feel like we talked about everything we had to say about Alien on our Ridley Scott episode. So yeah, Alien's my number 4, and I think it's great. I do.
Cool. That's a nice pick. I'm going to have to pass.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, man. Where is it on my list, ladies and gentlemen? It's on there somewhere. All right. So my number 4 is the complete opposite from Brian's. I'm going to give you a little history lesson with me growing up with puberty and stuff. So I, love the woman, like the woman body. I love like the way a woman looks and stuff. So I was really fascinated, like when I was a teenager, finding like nude movie scenes and stuff. I know I was a typical 13-year-old, but instead of watching porn, I went to was it like Mr. Skin or something like that? I know it's crazy. So anyways, one of the scenes I saw was Basic Instinct. Sharon Stone fully nude, and so I watched the movie. And, at the time I watched it because, Sharon Stone's fucking hot. But when I get older and stuff, I like it for what it is. It's a great erotic thriller. It's a guilty pleasure. And then I watch more Paul Verhoeven stuff. I love Total Recall. I love RoboCop. I'm just like, oh, my God, this guy's amazing. He's made some really great movies. There's one I haven't watched yet. And it's probably the one I've watched more times than anything else in his collection. And it's the first thing I saw Neil Patrick Harris in. That would be Starship Troopers, baby. I fucking love this movie. It's so cheesy. It is gory. It is funny. It is stylistic. It's got great commentary on propaganda, military, government. I love, love, love this movie. It is so much fucking fun. And I love Paul Verhoeven, man. He's really great about using a great blend of CGI and practical. It's just a fun sci-fi adventure. It doesn't borderline horror territory like an Alien or anything, but it's got like that 90s camp cheese fun to it, and I believe it's based off of a book, and I've never read the book before, but I really love the movie, so I wouldn't mind reading the book if I ever came across it or whatever. But Starship Troopers is my favorite Paul Verhoeven movie, and it's my 4th favorite space film of all time. I absolutely adore it. So that's my movie from the 90s. So that one's out of the bag. So, Brian, would you like to comment on Starship Troopers? Because I know it's not on your list.
I actually never saw Starship Troopers.
What?
Sorry.
I mean, like, you've seen Paul Verhoeven stuff, right?
Could you name his films one more time?
RoboCop, Total Recall.
Seen it.
Basic Instinct.
Seen it.
And then Starship Troopers.
Have not seen Starship Troopers.
And then, of course, the most infamous one he ever did, because I was a horny teenager back in the day, was Showgirls. And so,
oh, sweet Jesus. I haven't seen that either.
Showgirls. The Showgirls is I don't really care for that one. But I like all the rest of the stuff he's done. But yeah, Starship Troopers, man, that is a fun fucking movie. is the main actor kind of okay? Yeah, he's not that good. Was Casper Von Dien or something? I forgot what his name was, but he's not that really good of an actor. But he's very likable, and I just like the sci-fi element because it feels like I'm watching a movie that's placed on regular activities you would see on Earth or wherever. Someone graduates from college, goes to the military and stuff, but they have this like sci-fi element with these giant bugs they have to go chase after and stuff. It's really cool. I would highly implore you to check it out, especially if you like Paul Verhoeven stuff. Starship Troopers is a fun fucking movie. Oh yes, it is. So yeah, Brian, what is your number 3?
I'm going with Star Trek. The 2009 film.
Oh, Star Trek.
I think I brought up this film so many times on our show. I think it was my number 1 reboot. I think it was my number 2 film based on a TV show. I just love this film. It got me into Star Trek. J.J. Abrams did a great job with it. I love all the actors in the film. I love the comedy in it. I really liked Into Darkness and Into Beyond. I almost said Into Beyond. Star Trek Beyond. Not yet. We're not going to talk about that yet. Yeah, but like, it has a fun element to it. It's very gritty. It's very intense, and it's really just a blast of a film. And it was such a surprise critically. Like, it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's how good it was. And it got new people into Star Trek, like myself. I remember when I saw the film opening night, I went with my mother, and I was like, this is a complete ripoff of Star Wars, because I had no clue that this was based on a TV show or anything. I had no clue. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, so Star Wars ripped this off.
Exactly.
Fascinating. But I still love you, Star Wars. But yeah, I brought up this movie numerous times on our show, and I just really think it's a genius film. It's definitely one of my favorite sci-fi films of the last 10 years. Like, it really is. I really love this film, and I really like Into Darkness. So I'm happy with how J.J. Abrams got all these people into Star Trek, and I hope that's what he does with Star Wars. Like, I believe that's what he's doing. I think he's doing that. I think he's going to get the newer people into it, and he's going to get us older people back into it.
Yeah, no, Star Trek is a really good one. Like, just like what Brian said, it came out when I was 19. I was working at the movie theater. I saw it just out of a whim, and I was like the only one in the theater because I saw it at some really late time. And I was surprised because I was never a fan of the TV shows. And I realized that there are smart, intellectual people out there that are way better than me, and they get Star Trek and they understand the philosophies and stuff. For me, it was boring. It's a boring TV show. They're boring movies. I just didn't really get into it. Now, after watching the reboot of 2009 Star Trek, I kind of want to go back and give the other ones a chance because I actually do love the reboot a lot. It's a really fun space adventure and stuff that still had the same kind of flavor as the old Star Treks and stuff, but it was kind of amped up with the action and stuff. But yeah, people out there are way smarter than me out there. They get Star Trek. I've just never been a huge fan of it, but I do love the reboots, and I'm looking forward to Beyond. But god damn it, that was a terrible teaser trailer. So that's a great pick. So interesting. Okay, so he's down to Brian's down to 2 slots. Star Wars is on there somewhere, so yeah, I axed that one off. I'm trying to think of what the fuck he added. Because Star Wars is number 1. It's going to be number 1. So I'm trying to think of what his second one is. I can't do it right now. Let me do my third choice, and I'll try to think about it. All right. So my third choice. So I already chose my 80s movie. I already chose the 90s movie. I have a 60s movie left, a 70s movie left, and the 2000 movie left. Going with the 2000s on this one. I didn't know what to expect. Never heard this director before, but I was a huge fan of the actor playing in the movie. I remember I went to one of the art house theaters to see it, and I really liked it, and I bought it as soon as it came out on DVD. I rewatched it, and just the more I watch it, the more I just love it. I tried to figure out different theories behind it and stuff. That would be Moon. If you guys have not seen Moon, I would highly I would highly suggest that movie. It's Sam Rockwell playing against Sam Rockwell. And listen, the little you know about this movie, the better. So I'm just going to say this. Sam Rockwell is up in space. He's up there in a station, and they're doing experiments and stuff. And another Sam Rockwell walks on to the space station. He's like, oh, my God, what's happening and stuff. And that's all you need to know. Kevin Spacey plays the voice of Gertie, the robot that follows Sam Rockwell around. It's amazingly shot. It's well acted. Like, this is some of the best acting you will see from a guy that's playing against himself. And the thing is, it's directed by Duncan Jones. Never heard of this guy. This is a small budget movie, and he made this movie feel gigantic, and he made it feel grandiose, but super small and emotional and intimate with this character, because he was inside the station, kind of like the Martian or whatever, where we follow this one guy, man. That's it. He's got to carry the movie, and he totally carries the movie. It's a really great science fiction film. I think if you love space movies, Sam Rockwell, I think you'll enjoy this movie. So Moon is my number 3. But like I said, the little you know, the better. Go in there blind. It's a nice little sleeper hit that no one ever talks about. So please, for the love of everything that is holy, go see that movie. Brian, would you like to comment? You saw Moon, right?
I have.
Did you like it?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. So I mean, like, amongst most film fans, if you ask them about Moon, most have seen them, and most really liked it. So for all those people that have never heard of it, please seek it out. Enjoy yourself. All right. So we're down to our top 2. Now, I'm not going to lie. I think me and Brian's top 2, both of ours, are probably some of the best films ever made and regarded on that list, on everyone's list. So, Brian, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Moon. I played with you. I fooled you. You motherfucker.
Okay, so apparently Brian's been taking acting lessons, and apparently I've been taking gullible lessons. All right, so, okay, I'll give Brian that one. Game's on, motherfucker. I'm coming after you next time. So, okay, I'm going to keep that in the back of my head. So, all right, Brian, tell us about Moon.
Well, Moon, like you said, very low-budget film. It was directed by David Bowie's son.
Yep.
And no one knew what the fuck this movie was, except it had good old Sam Rockwell, beautiful Sam Rockwell, and he was on the moon, and that's it. And Kevin Spacey voices a robot, and that's it.
Yeah, seriously, do not read up on this movie.
That's it. No trailer, no IMDb. If you want to know one thing about it, I don't know how you'll be able to avoid the plot synopsis of this film. All you need to know is that it's directed by David Bowie's son. It stars Kevin Spacey and Sam Rockwell, and that's it. And this film is really an excellent, engaging drama. It's only, I believe, 95 minutes long. It's a very short film. The movie's not a movie you can only watch one time. You gotta watch it more times to fully understand. I've only seen the movie twice. I have yet to see it a third time. I wanted to rewatch it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I work at a library, and they have all these movies, but they had it, but someone already rented it out, which shocked me. I'm like, who would rent out Moon? No one knows what the fuck this film is.
That's good. I want more people to fucking see it, so that's good.
But I think it costs $30 million to make. The visuals look pretty. What?
Was it that high?
I don't know. I think it wasn't lower than 30.
No more than 10.
10 million?
Yeah.
It was 10 million? Well, visually for a $10 million film, it looked better than a $125 million film. That's the truth.
Regardless of what the budget was, it was definitely independent. And
I know it was independent. I just didn't know. I know that it's not higher than 30 million.
Yeah. It is a damn shame, 2010 Oscars, that you didn't even recognize this movie one bit. Like, what are you doing with your life? So
could they have? I don't know. I mean, that wasn't really the best year for film anyway. That wasn't really the strongest year. Hurt Locker won Best Picture.
I know. Like, it's like Moon is one of those like nice little gems, and it doesn't get any recognition whatsoever.
Maybe it was too effed up for the Academy. I don't know.
whatever.
It is an effed up film. It really is one of those few effed up films, but it is really one of the best indies of the last 10 years. And I don't know why. Whenever I look it up, it just says this is a British film, and yet it has American people in it. I don't know. I guess it was produced and filmed in England. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know. But overall, Moon is amazing. And if you guys have not seen it, I strongly suggest you do. There are a lot of people who like Sam Rockwell. And if you haven't seen this is hands down the best performance that he's ever given. Ever given. He's given a lot of really strong performances, but this one is the best he's ever been.
Well, and also, like, we haven't seen Warcraft, but as far as
also the guy directed Source Code, which is awesome.
Listen, Source Code's good, but Moon is the best thing he's done.
No, absolutely. But Source Code is the one for more mainstream people.
True. Yeah, I gotta rewatch that one again. But yeah, Moon's great. Source Code's good. So World of Warcraft, please be fucking good. So that way Duncan Jones can have that awesome, turkey in bowling because you get 3 strikes. See, I don't know. I tried to make a reference. It didn't fucking work. All right, so my number 2 and my number 1 are definitely films that could be interchangeable, and they are definitely on people's 100 best of all time list, no doubt. Now I have a 60s movie and a 70s movie left.
May I take a guess?
Sure.
Your number 2 is Alien.
No.
It's 2001: Space Odyssey.
You got it. So my number 2 is the 60s movie, and that would be 2001: A Space Odyssey. If you guys have watched me for any period of time, Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorite directors of all time. 2001 is not my favorite one of his, but it is a damn good movie. And like when you watch it for the first time, you don't know what to expect. You just expect it's going to be epic because it's Stanley fucking Kubrick. The movie starts out with, a bunch of apes or whatever, just playing around, goofing, twisting their little gorilla nipples or whatever. And then one of them finds a bone and they start using it as a tool. And from that point on, we get into our story and then we end up in space. And it's a really great movie to show how we have evolutionized as human beings and stuff, and how far technology has advanced. Showing that first scene of the monkeys playing with the bones and stuff, to us being on a space station, and we have HAL 2000, right? Yeah, HAL 2000. Being this evil AI machine, like it's crazy how far we've advanced, and Stanley Kubrick definitely makes note of that. But not only that, you are treated to a visually stunning movie. Every Kubrick movie you see, it's just visually stunning. The cinematography is always gorgeous and luscious and rich with colors and stuff. All the stuff on the space station looks really great. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember when I saw it for the first time, I was blown away. That is my second favorite space film of all time. That would be 2001: A Space Odyssey. And Brian pretty much already said my number 1. However, I know what his number 1 is, but, it's 1 out of the 3. Okay, so I haven't talked to Brian about Star Wars. I just know that he's a huge fan, so I don't know what his favorite is, what his least favorite is, so I'm just going to take a stab. Brian, I'm going to say that Empire is your favorite one.
It is my favorite one, but my number 1, I'm going with the original Star Wars. Because without Empire, we wouldn't have. Without this one, we wouldn't have Empire.
That's true. So, Brian, I'm sure Brian has said this to death about Star Wars, but try to convince me. Why is Star Wars your favorite space film of all time? What is it about that one movie that you just think of space?
There's so much scope in this film. There's so much. Like, you want to go on all these adventures with these characters, with Luke and Han and Leia and Chewie. Like, you want to go on these adventures with them. All the planets that they go to, all the ships that they go on, the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star, all the planets they go to, all the aliens they interact with, the droids. So good. Holding a lightsaber like this one, a blaster, using the Force. Just, it's a mind-blowing world, and George Lucas created this world. I don't like the man anymore, but I mean, I have to give him credit for creating this entire franchise. And even though, like I said, Empire to me is not only the best Star Wars film, it's in my opinion the best sci-fi film we've ever had. It's like the Godfather of sci-fi films. It is, and that's to me, it is. And I just appreciate what George Lucas did with creating these awesome characters, and then all this, the visuals at that time, like they use models and stuff. And I love that J.J. Abrams is doing that with this one, even though there's gonna be I think like 10% CGI in this movie. There's not much CGI from what I heard, and I just think Star Wars is probably the most influential sci-fi film ever. Now, granted, 2001: A Space Odyssey came out first. That's the truth. But when you ask people which is more influential, they always say Star Wars. Star Wars is easily one of the most influential films ever made. And so is 2001, but Star Wars is just so impactful and something that more people could watch. Because as great as 2001 is for us film lovers, Star Wars is more rewatchable. It's more understandable.
Yes, I agree.
You don't have to pay attention to everything that goes on, even though you should. And it's more fun because 2001 has a very deep story to it, and it's very dark. And so is Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. Star Wars has its dark moments. But it's more fun. I think it's the funnest sci-fi film we've ever had. And that's the thing with sci-fi. Yeah, you can have your deep sci-fi films. You can have your dark sci-fi films. But you gotta have fun in sci-fi. Sci-fi is supposed to be fun. Not all gloopy and droopy and sad. It could be like Moon. Listen, Moon is not the happiest film ever, and that's a great film, period. But this is fun. Star Wars is in my opinion, the best sci-fi film ever. Space film, sci-fi film, whatever. I think that I've said everything I need to say. Although I think Empire is the better one.
Okay, so here's the deal, though, folks. I don't hate Star Wars. I really don't. I think it's a very fun movie, and I have the same reaction to the Indiana Jones franchise. They're fun adventure movies. There's nothing wrong with that. I love going to see movies and just having fun and going on this adventure with these characters and stuff. I have no problem with that. Because I know if I say anything bad about Star Wars, I'm going to get pounced on. But I agree with Brian with everything he said. If there's one movie you can pinpoint in history to change the game in terms of franchises and just all around, to where, like, if you're a kid or an adult, you can connect to it. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can connect to this bad boy. Star Wars is the most influential movie in history. There's no denying that. So I can't combat with all the Star Wars lovers, but just know this: we all fanboy out over certain things. For me, I'm fanboying out in the middle of the biggest superhero boom in history. And I'm glad to be a part of it because it's now become one of my favorite genres, and that's what I geek out of. But people that watch Star Wars, they don't necessarily geek out with stuff. That's fine. It's all about your taste, man. I have no problems with Star Wars. Like I said, look, I got 3 VHS right there, and I got one of the DVDs over there. So it's not like I despise this thing. It's just I'm not a huge fan of it. I like them for what they are, and I'm very excited to see the 7th one, see where they take this and stuff. Because I want to see, I just want to see a good, entertaining movie. That's all I want to see out of this. So, hey man, there's no denying your number one choice. Star Wars is one of the most influential movies of all time, and it's rightfully so on everyone's list of one of the best movies ever made. So, for me personally, I like Empire out of the original 3 just because it's darker and it took different twists and turns, and it was so different from the 4th one to where I was like, yeah, this is actually I like it when they diverge off the beaten path of the simple story. Number 5 is just all over the place, but it works though. So I do like Empire the most. All right, so Brian already said my number 1. It's Alien. So I have a deep fear of the ocean. Okay, if you're stranded out there, I don't like when it's like nighttime and you can't see through the water and stuff. That freaks the fuck out of me. So what's like the second biggest thing that I'm scared of? It's not gonna ever happen because I ain't ever going up to space, but it's getting stuck in space. And what's worse than getting stuck in space? When you have goddamn alien creatures cruising through your spaceship or whatever, and you have to outrun them. And it's just like the tagline says, no one can hear you scream. It doesn't matter how much you scream, doesn't matter how much you fight, you are up there by yourself. No one can help you. That to me is terrifying. So it is a horror film. But when you add like the space element, all the people on there and the spaceships and stuff, then we get into more of the sci-fi element and stuff. So it's a great blend of sci-fi and horror because it adds that atmosphere and that tone, and it's soaked in just claustrophobia to where you're just like, oh my God, can you please just get out of here? I'm about to throw up or something. It's engaging from start to finish. And here's my story on how I came across Alien. This is a true story. I am not making this up. All right. So back in the day, when I was a teenager, my dad would go to auctions or wherever, and he would bid on public storage units. So, you know, if you went to like a public storage auction and they opened up the door and they see a bunch of boxes in there, and maybe you feel like you can resell for, you know, double the profit or whatever, you bid on it. And if you win, you get to take whatever shit is in there home. So one of the units my dad bought, there was a whole box of VHS tapes, one of which was Roadhouse. Another one I think was, I think it was Top Gun. And then there was a blank one. Like there was nothing on it, so I was like, oh shit, there's probably some porn on this. I'm going to take this for myself. And me thinking as a 13-year-old, oh shit, there's porn on this. It's going to be my lucky day. I put it in there when my parents are gone. And the 20th Century Fox logo comes up. I'm just like, huh, this must be a highly produced porn. So as it kept going, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't a porn. This is a movie. And I didn't know what Alien was at the time. I watched the whole thing. And when I saw the chest bursting alien for the first time, I was like, huh, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So, yeah, I watched the whole thing. And I was like, well, it wasn't porn, but that was a damn fine movie. I was scared out of my mind, and I really enjoyed just the way it was filmed and everything. And I was so impressed. A movie that was made in 1979, it looks so good. Like, it looks better than most space movies nowadays and stuff, because you got to realize back in the day, they didn't have access to computers and all this CGI bullshit. Like, they had access to practical effects, and you have to immerse your actors into this world to make us believe that they're in that world. You get what I'm saying? So that's what Alien does. We feel like we're watching this horrific adventure of these people trying to kill these motherfucking aliens and trying to get back home somehow. And it's just an engaging sci-fi horror film that's one of a kind. It can never be beaten because it's been copied numerous times. So Alien's my favorite space film, unless something comes along. So yeah, that's my list. That's Brian's list. So before we move on to the honorable mentions, guys, here is the board. These are good movies. These are all great movies. Are you kidding me? Like, all of these I would recommend highly. Starship Troopers might be the questionable one, but guess what? It's a great guilty pleasure. So fuck off. So, but anyways, yeah, I recommend all these. These are all great. So I'm gonna go over my honorable mentions real fast. I just have a few. Prometheus. That's right. I like that movie a lot, actually. Sue me. Another one, Gravity, for its technical achievements and stuff, and just how it kept you on the edge of the seat and it kept you suspenseful and stuff. So Gravity for sure. WALL-E is a great space film, and it's animated and stuff. I really like that one. It's a great Pixar movie. And then three more. Interstellar. I really like Interstellar a lot, and I was one of those guys that right off the bat, after I saw it the first time, I was like, that was a good movie. I didn't really like, I didn't really buy the ending so much, but I still enjoyed it overall. Guardians of the Galaxy for sure, because that's basically like a comic book version of Star Wars, and it's pretty great. And then of course, I'm not gonna lie, this one and Spaceballs were neck and neck, but I like Spaceballs a little bit more. But ladies and gentlemen, let's not shy away from Galaxy Quest. That is one of the most fun spoof movies of Star Trek that I've ever seen. It's super hilarious, super charming and adorable. It's got Sigourney Weaver in it, Tim Allen and stuff. I really like Galaxy Quest a lot. It's just such a fun movie, man. I really want them to make a sequel. Make a fucking sequel. So those are my honorable mentions. I don't have any bad ones that I can think of. Even when you think about movies like Armageddon, a cheesy disaster movie from Michael Bay, I still like that one. So I can't think of a bad one per se. So Brian, what are some honorable mentions for you?
2001: Space Odyssey, Gravity, Prometheus, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Apollo 13, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I forgot about Close Encounters, and then of course Apollo. We talked about that last week. So yeah, those are great. Do you have any?
And E.T.
E.T. Shit. Do you have any bad ones?
Can't really think of any on the top of my head.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of hard to find a bad space movie. So, yeah. So, what do you guys think though? I want to know what you guys think. Well, what are some of your favorite space movies? What are some of your least favorite? Comment in the place below my face and let me know. Brian, what are we talking about next week?
Next week is our last top 5 episode, 2015. And it's Christmas next week. We're doing our top 5 Christmas films.
Woohoo! So I will bet you money on it that we will have Home Alone on there somewhere. We will have Christmas Vacation and probably A Christmas Story. So those 3 are probably a given. So, but where they're placed, I don't know. I don't know what Brian likes the most. So, yeah, next week is Christmas films, guys. I'm super excited. It's like what Brian said. It's the last one in 2015. Yeah, so that's crazy, man. We've been doing this since June. Yeah, Brian's dead over there. He realizes he made a mistake like 6 months ago. He was like, God damn it, I'm stuck in this forever. So actually, Brian's the one that asked to come on the show. So you're stuck, buddy. You're the one that wanted to come on, so you are stuck. All right, so yeah, next week is Christmas movies. So yeah, so that will do it for this week's episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live, guys. If you want to follow me on Twitter and all that jazz, links in the description below. Brian, where can the good people find you online?
Twitter at Brian Suds98 and on YouTube at Brian Sudfield. Force Awakens tomorrow night.
This is so weird. This is so weird for us because it's like what Brian said. We're recording on Wednesday, but by the time this episode is uploaded, we will have already seen the movie. So we're talking about it.
I'm seeing it tomorrow night. That's.
See, we're talking about it as if this is episodes on Saturday, and we're just like, oh, we haven't seen it yet, but guys, find it. So, yeah. So we'll see you guys next week for an episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host
Brian Sudfield. That's
fucking right. And listen, intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out. They're a good band. I'm gonna play the outro music. So space films. Let me know down below. Do we have a good list? Do we have a shitty list? Let me know. Let's fight about it. Email me. Let's do this. Play the outro music. Fucking Star Wars, man. Woo! The biggest hype movie I've ever seen in my life. So, all right. We'll see you guys later.